Everyone, my name is NWHunt97 and welcome to another Destiny video. It looks like we're playing Monster Hunter World today. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So normally with this series, I would like to do like a playthrough, like overall, um, summary of the game. However, this time I'm actually going to do a little tutorial slash recommendation on how to play Monster Hunter. This is me as a player who've played Monster Hunter before, who've played several games of Monster Hunter, and you know, overall, a lot of the things that I'm going to say is basically overall it's coming from someone who played Monster Hunter before, and I think at least not only beginners but also experts of Monster Hunter should at least care about. So today I'm going to show you how to use a hammer, and and also just tell you that a hammer is probably one of the best options you could use in any Monster Hunter game. Like especially for Ultimate and further above, this is definitely an excellent option to use. So let's go ahead and go to the training map. So let's go to the world map. Let's go ahead and select, and let's go to the training arena. And this is a good place to train for any of the weapons that you want to use in the game. Now the cool thing about Monster Hunter is you actually have a lot of options to use. With your armor, with your weapons, with your playstyle. There's even different types of categories of hammers or sword and shields and all that. So me personally, I love using the hammer. I do use other weapons like the insect glaive, the great sword, the switch axe, the charge blade. I use all sorts of weapons. However, I'm going to show you really how to use a hammer, and also just to tell you that it's probably a really good weapon for beginners, and a really good weapon for advanced players. So let's go ahead and get started. So obviously, in order to use a hammer, you got to bring out the weapon. So you press triangle to draw the weapon, and all the hammer is made for is for stunning and doing damage to your opponents, while having a certain a certain play style where you try not to get hurt and you are ready for any attack. So that's what the hammer is made for. Overall, it's a very versatile weapon. Anyone could use it. It's not really difficult to use, yet it's really effective. So you have your main attack, which is triangle. You have your regular attack, so you have your regular hammer smack. Pretty efficient. It does overall good damage, but there's more powerful attacks. If you just want to get one quick attack from your hammer, you just press triangle, and then what you mainly want to use for the hammer is you want to aim for the head. So that's your main, really your main job as a hammer. You want to stun your opponents, and that's what you want to do as much damage as possible. So basically, you use your regular attacks to stun your opponent, and then you use your really powerful attacks to, completely do so much damage that even the great sword and even the switch axe can't really compete. So, you have certain combinations you want to use, so you press triangle, smash attack, 2. So, really regular attack, just press 3 triangles, and if you do this to the head, it does a lot of damage. Some people would say that the hammer is actually pretty slow, but overall, you can actually be pretty fast using this weapon. Again, this is a weapon good for beginners to use, and a weapon that advanced players will loves to use. Me personally, Sword and Shield is probably the best option for a beginner. That is, if you're playing Monster Hunter for the first time. But the thing is, I feel that the Sword and Shield is not the best option, especially later on in the game for fighting all sorts of monsters. Because I feel that the Sword and Shield doesn't do as much damage to the really big, monsters in this game. So, if you want to go bigger, that's really the main reason you play Monster Hunter, is to play and go against monsters that are really huge, and you have completely oversized weapons to take out your enemies. And guess what? The hammer is one of the best choices for oversized weapon to go against your enemies. So Uh, Honestly, if you're a beginner, I'll probably use the sword and shield at first. But then, as you go on, you want to use the hammer in later parts of the game. Really with any game, honestly, of Monster Hunter. So you have your regular attack, and you also have your Big Bang. Now, remember how I said that the hammer is made to stun enemies? Well, once you stun your enemy and he or she or whatever it's called is vulnerable, you want to use your Big Bang attack. So you just press Big Bang several times. You press the circle button to do your Big Bang attack, and it does it does okay damage. But the more you tap the button of the circle button while attacking your opponent, it does more damage. So you know. Oh, hang on. So you just keep hitting it to do more damage. And remember, guys, if you press circle and you don't hit anything, it doesn't count. It doesn't do anything. That's it. That's what it does. So here's the maximum damage you could do. And as you can see, it does ridiculous damage. So this is really the best way to deal damage for a monster that's like stunned or vulnerable. You want to use your Big Bang combination. That's the most damage you can do with the hammer, with the Big Bang. However, using the Big Bang makes you have risk of missing, which makes you completely vulnerable, and it also makes you so that you know, if you don't, it gives you a really short time period of doing damage. So instead of just doing your regular attacks that do guaranteed damage, you're doing even more damage with the Big Bang to do possible maximum damage, but there's also a chance you getting vulnerable. I would recommend you only do this if the enemy is stunned or if they're completely vulnerable, as I said before. And even if they're completely vulnerable, it's not really worth it because you won't be able to use your Big Bang attack like fully once the monster gets up most of the time. So that's really, this is the only time you want to use Big Bang is for your an opportunity, like the biggest opportunity you can get to do the most damage. And also it's really good against big enemies. What's also important about the hammer, probably the most important mechanic, is your charge attack. So as you can see, there are 3 levels of charge attacks you use for the hammer. So you have level 1, and that's just your regular one. You have level 2, and it's a little bit more powerful. And then you have level 3, and it's your most powerful attack. Charged Big Bang. So that's what it's all about. And what's really cool is, depending on if you're moving or, you know, running, that's actually a really big handy use for the hammer, is that you can actually charge while moving. While weapons like the charge blade or the you know, great sword, you have to stay stationary in order to charge your weapon. And the cool thing is, it stays charged with unlike the great sword. So that's really what you want to use. Really, the best option to use the charge attack is you charge and then you move around so you get the perfect opportunity to hit your opponent. So that's what you really want to use for your charge attack, is to move around until you get the perfect opportunity to attack your opponent. However, this does drain stamina, so if you want to, you know, cancel it, if you want to cancel your charge attack while you're running out of stamina, you just press X to, you know, roll away. And really is overall, again, an excellent idea to roll away from attacks. That's what the hammer is made for. You want to do ultimate attacks to move around and dodge attacks, and if you want to get out of it and avoid an attack, just press X, okay? The hammer, for some reason, is really good at dodging, okay? So take advantage of that dodging ability. Just, you know, keep moving around until you get an excellent opportunity to attack your opponent. So I'm going to show you the different charge attacks you could have with the hammer. So you have the regular one while not moving. Then you have the moving ability, and it's kind of cool is you can actually set up a little combination while moving around using the level 1 charge attack. So I'll show you the full combo. So it's actually a really good setup, you know, for your charge. So You know, let's say a monster's right in front of you, you go ahead and just go charge, and then you just do some damage. So you have ability to stun, and if it's stunned, then you can do your big bang attack. You know, it's just all about combinations, guys. Like, you know, each weapon has its own weapon selection, and depending on how you know the combinations, you can actually do very well with the weapon. And it's overall just knowledge on how to use with Monster Hunter overall to do well. You also have your level 2. You have like a big swiping um, combination. So this is overall good for a you know, for a rising attack, which is if a monster is high, then you can definitely get them with this attack. So let's try this again, and then you can set up your combinations as you go on. Really, the hammer is made for combinations. With the very first strike you do a lot of damage. Then you set up that strike with the other combination, which is very useful. So make sure we're not missing anything. So really with level 2, it's just overall utility. And if a monster hunter, if a monster is too high for you, you might as well do that attack because that will help you in the long run. And then you have your most powerful attack. This is only used for, like, you know, again, if it's vulnerable, or you know, if you just want to go around and just hit them to make them, you know, distracted, or if you're playing your friends. If the monster is distracted because you're trying to attack your friend, you just go up behind them and then you just do a really big smash attack to do a lot of damage. And also, what's probably the most favorite part of the hammer is you just go completely mayhem on them. As you can see, I can do a lot of damage with this. So you have your regular spinning swing, and you also have, if you want to cancel your swing, you press triangle as you you know, as you go ahead and, you know, about to attack the very first time. So, you have your very first attack, and you just press triangle as soon as you, you know, about to do the smash attack. You press triangle to cancel the swinging effect in case you don't want to do it. You can also do a follow-up attack as well. As soon as you do your attack, and then you do the follow-up swing. You just press triangle again as soon as you, start off basically the momentum swinging. And then you could be really fancy and do the spin attack, and then you wait for 3 or 4 times, and then you press triangle to do basically a golf swing on the enemy, which could be do a lot of damage, and it stuns your opponent a lot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think 5 is the absolute maximum for doing the swing, and if you do it more than 5, then you will have your hammer misplaced, and you will be vulnerable. Again, you must not be vulnerable with the hammer. If you are, you're in big trouble, and that makes the monster have the ability to attack you, especially if you miss. The last mechanic that you want to use for the hammer, again, this is all. I'm throwing things a lot. I'm throwing a lot of things at you guys, but really the hammer has like the least combinations out of all of the weapons, including a lot of the ranged weapons, the switch axe, the you know, the charge blade, etc. Really, the hammer is one of the simplest weapons to use, yet it does a lot of damage, and probably next to the sword and shield. But again, the sword and shield is made to be really versatile, and you want to slash up your opponents with with as much combinations as possible. While the hammer, it has a lot of combinations, yet it does a whole bunch of damage with each strike. Okay, so the last mechanic for the hammer is you have your power charge, and you press circle to power charge your hammer. Now, while it's power charged, you could do more damage, and you could do you know, more combinations as you go with this weapon. So power charge stays as long as you either don't get stunned, or if you don't draw put your sheath your weapon. I'm sorry. So let's go ahead and sheath the weapon, and as you can see, it disappears. So I have the hammer out, charge, and I believe if you power charge, depending on what level it is, there's like 3 amounts of power charges. Not sure if that's the case or if it's just power charged overall. So They're probably different types of power charges, or there's the same power charge. I don't know. If it's the same power charge, you might well just do it level 1 because it doesn't take as long. But I do 3 charges just in case it does more damage. So, as you can see, okay, let's go ahead and make a damage comparison. So let's just do a regular hammer smash. And let's do power charge. And let's see if we can do more damage. So you did 33 first. Now we did 35. So it does more damage if you have power charge. So let's do power charge number 2. Okay. So let's see if it does more damage. 35. And let's do it with 3 now. Okay. Okay, let's see if it does more damage. Yeah, it looks like it does more, the same damage. So I probably did it wrong, but hey, just do level 1 for now, for doing this, you know, for using the hammer, using its power charge. So, if you have power charge, then you do more damage, and you have different combinations available for you. So let's do charge number 3 while moving around. So, as you can see, it does a spinning smash. So, hang on, guys. Smash. Woo, woo, woo. So, as you can see, you can have a lot of fun with the hammer. So let's see if it does a lot of damage. Yes, it does. And then you have the main reason you want to use power charge is you know, just standing still using the charge attack. So let's do level 3, and then let's release. Charge, brutal, big bang. So this is probably the most powerful attack you could do in an instant. And you can do this many times as you want, as long as you don't lose the power charge. So let's try this again. So as you can see, it does a lot of damage. Okay, so let's do this one more time. See if we can hit it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So as you can see, guys, the hammer could do massive damage, especially at power charge, which you could do the most damage possible in the least amount of time. And that's really the goal for the hammer. Was also one more thing with the hammer. The hammer is not known for having a lot of sharpness, so you want to keep your hammer handy at all times. So let's see if we can get a wheatstone, and you want to use it a good amount. At least keep it on yellow. Most beginner hammers stay at yellow, and yeah. Make sure you keep a white stone on at all times, and I would recommend you get armor to reduce your white stone, you know, time to sharpen your weapon. That's probably the best option I can give you for the hammer. Armor overall. Obviously you can get like some armor that increases your attack, and yeah, that's probably the recommendation I give you. Get armor that increases your attack because that's what you want for the hammer, and also get armor that decreases your time sharpening your weapons. And yeah, that is my 2 cents for how to use the hammer in Monster Hunter World. I hope I helped you guys I hope I helped you guys with this video. If I didn't, let me know if I wasn't clear on anything. So you know, I could probably delete this video and then I can improve on the tutorial of the hammer. And if you like this video, hey, tell me if you want more tutorials like this, and I could definitely do some tutorials with a lot of the weapons, like, you know, the insight glaive. I could definitely do the switch axe, the charge blade, etc. And not sure about the lances because I don't use it often, but hey, if you ask me for a lance tutorial, I will do it for you guys. I just probably need to practice before I do the tutorial. So that's about it, guys. This is a very you know, unusual video because this is a new game, but I do know Monster Hunter, and I definitely know how to use the weapons, and that's about it, guys. Make sure you go ahead to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Comment below if you ever played Monster Hunter World and what's your most favorite weapon, and also give me some advice for you advanced Monster Hunter you know, players. Do you think the hammer is one of the best weapons for a beginner or an advanced player, or is it one of the worst weapons? Let me know, and then we can have a little discussion on why I think the hammer is one of the best weapons in Monster Hunter. Thank you guys for watching. God bless. I'll see you next time. Goodbye, and hopefully I can make another tutorial for you guys for Monster Hunter. Okay, guys. See you later.
So, Hammer, what weapon would you use in Monster Hunter?
A great sword.
What? But you're the Hammer of Justice. Why would you want to use a great sword?
Because swords are cooler than hammers.
But you're the Hammer of Justice.
So?
Whatever, man.